Jean Fouquet is going to be a court painter to Charles VII, and he will also paint the Melun Diptych, which is a pair of pieces meant to be viewed together. Again, a diptych being a painting made in two panels. Now, in this case, we have the donor, again, devout and kneeling, in this case to the left of the image, constantly looking into the image, giving us the sense of someone who is worshiping at a particularly religious image or religious scene. And this recalls a lot of Flemish and Italian art that we've seen. Saint Stephen here is depicted with the stone, and he's standing next to our donor. So Stephen is there. He's being symbolized by the stone. He's, of course, stoned to death, bringing about his martyrdom. And when we look at them together, it gives the patron an air of piousness, an air of humility. After all, he's kneeling while Stephen gets to stand. But it's a little bit deeper than that. The sharp detail and bright color reveal a certain Flemish inspiration. And the viewer would have followed the patron's gaze over to the left. So what we're looking at is the general gaze of these two going straight over here. And so let's talk about, well, the Virgin. And that's where we start running into some issues. Remember, I talked about a few times here, men are being used to model women. You can see that here with the Melun Diptych. She's not terribly realistic in terms of body form. The Christ child is there very, very pale, almost as if the artist had never actually seen a Christ child or is trying to depict him as particularly upper class and therefore very, very pale. But we know that he can do skin tones. We can see Stephen and our patron properly depicted, but Jesus is particularly pale. As we look, Jesus is nude, not unusual for a baby, and he's pointing off to the right. The idea is that his point to the right draws us over here, the gaze pushes us back, or his pointing to the left gets us over to the patron and St. Stephen, whose gaze to the right kind of keeps us circular. The breast is unusual, and that is getting at the motherly role of the Virgin Mary. The motherly role of the Virgin Mary is something that had been argued about going back to the very earliest elements of the church. If we were in Spain, we might see her actively breastfeeding Jesus in one way, shape, or form. But in this case, it's there to tell us that she is a mother, not simply a vessel. She's playing a role. She's not just Queen of Heaven. The angels in the background are probably meant, the blue and red, to set off the very pale skin tones of the Virgin and Jesus. The use of white might also indicate innocence, which is a very common theme when you're trying to depict the Holy Family. The interesting thing is, in Northern Europe, we're seeing her with a full royal crown. And not only that, but she's sitting on what appears to be a royal throne. And this is just different ideas. Now, in Italy, you're in a republic, especially in Florence. And that republic doesn't revolve around one ruling family, at least not openly. Obviously, the Medici are in control, but they're in the background. From the outside, it looks like a republic. In Northern Europe, these are all duchies and kingdoms. They have monarchs, and so they're going to use that language to get across different identities and roles. In this case, the identity of Mary as Queen of Heaven and as Mother to Jesus.